Okay. Right. Topic of the day. I'm crooked. I'm crooked. It's got to be straight. Be straight. Am I in the middle? Little OCD here. I sit like that. It's doing my head in. Okay? Oh, I'm hanging by a thread, guys. Okay? My ADHD's hanging by a thread. My autism's hanging by a thread. My life is hanging by a thread. No, being dramatic. But I'm not being dramatic, but I am being dramatic, but I'm not being dramatic, but I am being dramatic. Oh, guys. Okay. So, NDIS chat, which links into staff, which links into autism, which links into issues with autism, which helps people with autism, because you probably get this too from maybe different people, saying people, you might be going through needing an autism diagnosis and you just want to know, well, am I autistic? Because some of these things, when you see us in the wild, I'm one of the ones in the wild, sometimes you can pick up things. Not personality traits, of course, but I'm saying, like, I know when I was diagnosed autistic, because it was so long ago, it wasn't internet like chatted about. I don't know, that's not the right word. But it wasn't out there. There was no groups. No one was saying, I'm an adult autistic. And I was like, oh, alone. And I'm like, help. And there was no one. So when I finally got to see people, I was like, oh, that's, yeah, I do that. Yeah. How come we're all the same? And then it's like, Sir's like, because you're autistic. Yeah, okay. All right, good point. But basically, it was very isolating. So anyway, if you're here for, if you don't know if you're autistic, if you're a highly sensitive person, please get tested. At least do, it's like, there's some online ones that are actually, not the dodgy ones, there are actually some good ones online. That's a starter. It's not a diagnosis. But it's like, it's to entertain the thought to then go to a GP for a referral to go and get tested, basically, because it scores it. It's just an idea. You don't have to do it. You can just go and get tested if you are, because in Australia it's very expensive. But if you are, you know, a person that's able to get that done, it wasn't sort of hugely expensive when I was getting it done. But obviously because it became popular, which is not really that it became popular, it's because a lot of people realised their struggle was that. That's the title of their struggle, basically. And that's important to know, right? Because how do you improve your life if you don't know what your struggle is? You got to know what your problems are to fix them. And I'm not saying autism is a problem. You know what I mean, okay? I was not functioning well prior diagnosis as much as I am now. Because when you get the right therapies, you start to change and suddenly blossom. Anyway, I consider myself blossoming now, even though a lot of people compare me to a neurotypical and go, you just a poor performer. It's like, well, to a neurotypical, I am a poor performer. But to an autistic, I am doing great. So it's in my DNA. I've even got proof that I'm autistic in my DNA. And that's going to help everyone soon too for diagnosis. Hold on to that. Sorry to break it to you, but a lot of syndromes, a lot of you guys might have a syndrome. And that's the reason for your autism. Apologies. I can't complain because I had to get my stuff up too. Anyway, just drilling. Cheers, get a drink, get a snack, let's have a chat. Why are we chatting? Well, it's really hard being so-called high functioning with staff. And in Australia, we have our system for disability for profoundly disabled people is the NDIS, the National Disability Scheme, insurance scheme, right? That's what we have to use. And you get assessed and you get a package and you work out your needs with therapies, equipment, whatever your needs are. They normally get met, like normally, but not always. Our system is not great. Hopefully on improvement scale. but not great, right? So we do the best with what we can at the moment, and we're always hopeful for the future. Let's not even go there. It's a big political debate. Don't even go there. But for an Australian, if you're disabled and you're talking about the NDIS, it's a dirty word. But basically, let's talk about it, because I've experienced everything in it. I've been in it for 5 years because we were self-funded for 25 plus years. So it's bad. It's bad. Especially for people who have syndromes. We have a lot of needs and our packages are very big, and that you might think is great, and it is great. It is great to be able to have certain equipment and things that you need for your syndrome, right? But we're bait to a lot of people who want our money, and that's where things go wrong. Okay, that's when people start to take our money and we don't get anything out of it sometimes, or if we do get something out of it, it's the wrong things out of it. Does that make sense? Yes, Bubba. You're trying to find a spot to sleep. Surprise, surprise, the cat's trying to find a spot to sleep. Is the aircon too cold for you, sweetie? There's a chair out there. And a window as well. It's Play School. Oh, God. I love that show. I watched it until I was about 12. Delay in development. You know the story? Well, you shouldn't, which is the long side. I'm having a battle this morning with my senses. All right, we're having this thing called, not spring. You guys are having spring in UK and America, but in Australia and everywhere else, we're having autumn. But it's in this, it's not hot, it's not cold, and I don't know what to do with my body thing. Because I also have thermodysregulation. Doesn't help an autistic, trust me. You should have done the menopause with autism. Oh, not fun. But anyway, I'm an autistic that has regressed. Yes, sadly, a bit of regression I have suffered. And also, I was quite severe as a child, so I have a lot of insight, I feel. And I also studied psychology, and of course, naturally, I have studied a lot about autism once I got diagnosed, because I wasn't convinced. I said to the dude, "Are you sure? How do you know I'm autistic?" So it took me another year to actually go, like, and I'm not saying like I would verbally admit it, yes, but I'm saying like to actually go, yeah, I am. It took another year. So being in this NDIS system, for autism, it does nothing for me, really. I mean, in saying that, it's not totally true. They've helped me with speech therapy. They've got me my AAC, because just like look, as an example, in this still happens. I was a terrible birth story situation, syndrome, no surprises there. I'm lucky to be here. I was lucky to get past 3 years old with my syndrome, and I'm lucky to be turning 50 soon, like days. So, you know, I'm lucky, right? But I'm sick. I'm very, very sick. And, you know, it's basically like when I was at primary school and I went to the dentist, and in those days you used to have to put your hand up when you felt pain, right? I was a non-verbal child. I didn't put my hand up. I suffered a lot of pain. I didn't show the body language of pain. I didn't put my hand up. I suffered pain though. Traumatic pain. To the point where I'd have a panic attack going to the dentist at an older age, because they gave me 4 fillings in 1 week, because they thought that I wasn't feeling much, and I was one of those people that was doing a super cool. Even though I was in special ed and they knew something was wrong with me because I didn't speak. That's what it was like in the 70s and early 80s, guys, for female autistics. It was brutal. So that traumatized me. And I have a dentist now, and she sees me do this, and she's really good dentist. She's gentle, she's fast, she's like talented at what she does. Like, she's a good dentist overall, but even better for autistics. She's just amazing. And so I still do this because of the PTSD, to be honest. So I still have that now. I still could be inflicted with pain at a hospital and I will still go nonverbal. It's not a good situation. So it's tricky, guys, but I have evolved in other ways. Like, I talk a lot now to strangers. Didn't do that before. It's a change. Sometimes I say just stupid random facts rather than a social conversation, but I'm autistic, so who cares? Like, I give up trying to be normal. Gave that up a long time ago. So but yeah, I can be difficult, I guess, to engage with. It's kind of awkward. I need people to be rather understanding, because I can go on tangents where they go, what? What? Because I have a hyper-focused brain and I'm just on a total different train line to these people, and they notice. But it particularly upset me today because you need representation when you have 22Q. We're always given a guardian. Well, in Australia, I'm assuming it's probably the same other countries. In Australia, you get given a guardian, like a legal EPG, so enduring power of guardianship, when you turn 18. Because we need it with vulnerable people with 22Q. Autistics are the same. So I'm autistic. I need it for the same reason. So I have an EPG. Oh dear.
Hello. G'day, buddy. I will come down because I don't think the door's fixed, but give me 30 seconds.
Okay. Don't know who that is. 2 seconds. I'll have to see who that is. Okay, not maintenance, because there's still things being done in my place. I've got to choose 2 cupboards for my bathroom to go on the walls, and I haven't done that. Oops. Anyway, I'll do that later. Hyperfocus, you see? YouTube is like my... Please, no. Give me a nervous breakdown. Okay, so we need representation. We need support. We need support. That was a Malman. It won't be my Taylor Swift t-shirt. That's too soon. It's too soon. It might be my swing. Oh, guys, I found see, I'm being sidetracked. Supposed to be speaking about communication and autism. A swing to carry my weight, even though I'm not much more weight than a child. 22Q joke. But you know, I've got a swing. I've already got the round thing, as you know, and it goes like this. It's like a frame that can carry me and I can swing. I am going to be back in heaven. Guys, water and swinging is my thing. Not that kind of swinging. Stop it. I'm not that kind of adult. Okay, I'm a hybrid. I am an adult, but I'm autistic, so it doesn't feel like it. And I don't get treated like it. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I don't get treated the same as other neurotypicals my age at all. Let alone I can't be a neurotypical, nearly 50-year-old. I can't. I've tried. Say my age many times, but it doesn't work. It actually backfires and puts me in really bad situations. But anyway, that hopefully is my swing. So communication. Oh, and silk swing, sorry. Silk swing, the sit-up swing, and I've got the round one. The silk one's going to be good. Yeah. And music. You add that with music. Swing and music. Oh, I'm just missing the water. Hoping I'll get my bath soon, because that's water. That's something. It's not a pool, though. That's the long-term goal, though. I need a pool and a house. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Not a show, but you know what I mean. Communication. So basically the dentist. That's not a good thing, right? And then, of course, I had distrust because I'm autistic. I'm assuming these people should know what's wrong with me. They should know that I felt pain. I didn't understand that they didn't know what they were doing to me. I thought also on the same tangents of, have I done something wrong? Is this punishment? Is this painful because I've done something wrong? Because when you're an autistic child, you do so many things wrong because you're seen as normal. You're compared to your peers, which for me was my brother, in my household, no, you're not doing it right, so you're going to be punished. So I always felt whenever I autistically failed, and I'm talking about autistically failed, not as a person failed or what have you, but as an autistic failed, then I always felt like, oh my gosh, you know, maybe this is punishment. That's what I thought about the dentist. That's just, to me, when I look back at it, sad.
Hi. Sorry.
Sorry guys, Sir's going off to get a blood test since the hospital thing, remember? So he's got to get a blood test checked, ready for, because it's not resolved guys, as you know, it's an ongoing health battle for him as well. So, it's just so frustrating. So, you know, today, the two people that are supposed to help speak for me, I get contacted, and in Australia, when the NDIS doesn't give you everything you need, and I'm fighting for medical oxygen for my genetic seizures, etc., and so that's been difficult. It's difficult for any epileptic in, I'd say Australia, but I think WA just has this little bit extra difficulty. It's a very small place compared to our other states. So, and I'm sorry, but the specialist is bitchy, useless people who don't want to help, sadly, in neurology is what I'm trying to say. So East Coast is better for things like that. So it's really annoying because Perth is too small and they just don't understand genetic seizures, guys. It is cutting edge stuff. Anyway, that's a sidetrack. But basically, I'm under AAT for just a few items, but it's complicated now because I got forced out of that place illegally. It's a breach. Like that SDA provider breached massively because we offered more money because I'm on the biggest package because of my syndrome and my needs under that syndrome. I have the biggest package, which makes me the biggest bait, basically, to a lot of people for money. You know, they just want my money. So, you know, but basically I'm at AAT for a few things, and now, since my diagnosis, that they realise how significant it is because it's a rare syndrome, they're like, oh, the NDIS is actually more helpful at the AAT for me than my fucking people. Can you believe it? Anyway, I hear today that two people that are supposed to help represent me at AAT with my partner, Matt, Sir, who's my carer, EPG, who is the main person supporting me there, making sure everyone's doing what they're doing. And the NDS is trying to make sure I get what I need because they're concerned about me more than the two people working for me right now. So it's really difficult. So it's like we're fighting the hospital over EPG things because I think I don't need it. It's like, yeah, I do. Because there's so many things that I don't communicate, and it's too difficult to explain to you what they are, how the scenarios. It's like they always think they know autism. They go, oh, do you want a sensory room? It's like, well, that would be great, but that's not it. That's not it. That's not the only thing I fucking need. I could be abused. I won't say anything. That's autism. I don't even know how to explain it. There's a lot of lack of understanding. We don't react in the moment. Our body language is different. We don't have the words. We don't know a lot of things that are wrong and right sometimes. We're delayed. We have gaps of knowledge, and it's expected. We're looked at as being our chronological age, and me, when they look at me, they see a picture of even health because I look younger than what my chronological age is, and that doesn't help. And then also it's, you know, they don't know about 22q because it's a rare syndrome, so they think that I'm a normal person. So it's complex. I've got all of these so-called systems set up for me, you know, a team at the hospital, but they just keep being like, what would you call it? Just invisible, okay? They're not stepping up for me. They're not representing me properly. And then I have these two people for the AAT, which is basically court for the NDIS failing me, and now they're backstepping because they realise they have failed me. They have totally failed me. That I've slipped through every crack since the day I was born, in fact. And they actually feel for me, thank goodness. They've got a heart, and they're realising, oh shit, what have we done to this person? Yeah, what have you done to me? And now another breach has happened. Now the commissioner's just been told, so I bet you they're peddling, and they should be. Because I am a threat, because I'm going to be a threat, because I'm not going to let this happen to me. I'm not going to let it, and it's genetic, I'm not going to let it happen to my family, and I'm not going to bloody well let it happen to anyone else. I would hate any Australian to go through this. Comment below if you are, because I am fighting for you too. This is not okay. I know Bill Shorten actually cares, but it's just not okay what's going on. These two people were supposed to do work for me and hand it in. And they didn't even have the decency to say to me, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hand it in. You need to go find someone else to do my job because I can't do it. Now, if I went there and just stood with this AAT on the spot, trying to do it like that, they don't have the time. So what I'm saying is I can't represent myself. And a lot of people don't get that. They think, no, but you can. You communicate so well. You don't get autism. You don't get it. Well, you don't do things in the moment. Now, guys, this could lead to life or death in the future for me. What happens with combinations of my health in the system and NDIS and the people that are supposed to support me? People have died on the NDIS, guys, if you don't know, and you're not Australian. We've had deaths. We've had physical abuse to people. It's terrible. There's no trust. Just watching an Australian 60 Minutes recently of a beautiful family that was violated in ways that is just so despicable. It makes me want to be violent to those people. And I'm not a violent person, but I was disgusted. We don't defend ourselves well, guys. We need our supports. And then I hear that they're not doing what they're meant to be doing, and they're paid. And so Sir's stressed out to the max. Shouldn't be. And then that comes on to me. Not his fault, but then it comes back onto me. Because everyone's like, oh, you know, it all becomes the pressure on me because I'm causing all of this. Not purposely, we all know that, but it still falls back on me. I'm the problem. Just like in my family that got rid of me and just treated me different and wanted me away from them, regardless of their excuses, because I'm difficult, because I'm disabled. That's what happens to some families. They don't accept it. They don't want to make our lives better like some beautiful families are doing out there. They want to just get rid of us. Just fuck off. That's what my family did. Okay? It's just, they look at me and they're like, you just don't get life. You just never get it. You always get everything wrong. Just fuck off. It's like, yeah, I know. And just like that little girl that you said I was stupid and I was a retard. Yep, I'm hearing you. They don't say those words to you as an adult, but they pretty much are showing you that that's what they really mean. And then try getting it from your children. And I know people don't like the R word, nor do I, but that was my era of what I was called. And everyone knew that that's what I was, and they did nothing about it. And in Australia, people are ashamed of people like that, including me. My children are ashamed of me because of having a meltdown that looks like a tantrum from a child. Well, when I watched Kaylin describing them and all that, it's like, yeah, I feel you, Kaylin, you know, from Love on the Spectrum. It's like, we get it too. We get overwhelmed. We don't have the words. We just get overcome, right? Our actual physical body temperature rises. We sweat. And we don't have the words. Imagine not having the words to describe what you're feeling. And people don't believe it. They go, but you can speak and you can speak. No, meltdowns still happen occasionally, depending on life circumstances, really. Because if we don't have the words, we get overcome with so much sensory overload of everything. Because while we're going through abuse, we're still having to function, and everything we do is hard. Everything we do is hard. Having a bloody shower is not simple. It's stressful. I need like a flowchart on how to shower. I can be in a conversation of people that are my age and I will lose the track. It's embarrassing. And that's why you need representation, especially when it comes to healthcare and NDIS, because I would not have been diagnosed at such a late age with 22q11.2 deletion syndrome if it wasn't for Sir stepping in and saying, what the fuck are you doctors fucking doing? You're missing something. We have been at ED you know what? We've been to ED on a weekend more than we've been to nightclubs and pubs. And they still didn't think to check for a syndrome. I had diagnosis after diagnosis piling up, and they're all accurate. But not one point did they think, shit, she's really sick. Maybe we should check for a genetic syndrome. That's the fucking flowchart that they learn at university, but they thought that they would just fail me. Just like today, those two women have failed me. And this is not the first time under the NDIS that I've been failed by people that are supposed to be the high up for me. And if I didn't have a partner, I don't know where I'd be. Not in a good place. Not safe. Probably abused, and I probably would never have spoken about it. That's my reality. That's autism's reality. Australia, I'm disgusted and ashamed of the lack of knowledge and acceptance of autism. Really. A lot of people have autism because of syndromes. So don't be shy to look into genetics. I know that genetic testing is expensive no matter what country you're in. And I guess depending on what people's insurance covers or what have you. But I'm just saying it is worthwhile if you're not getting your needs met. It is worthwhile if you have the option, and I'm sorry if you don't, because I know what that's like. Get genetic testing done. So if you've been diagnosed with autism, mention that. They test for that. That was part of what helped find what was my syndrome, okay? So you let them know everything you're being diagnosed with. They should do, if they're a good geneticist, a full discussion about your history from day one, from what you know about yourself in everything, right? It helps them to know what to test for. There's a lot of syndromes that have autism under it and ADHD. And remember that with this ADHD, with the DSM, it doesn't mean you have the hyperactive one. It could mean you have the ADD one. They put it under the one thing of ADHD, which I think is like grammatically stupid. And English teachers, please agree with me. Isn't that stupid? They should say ADHD-ADD. They are very different, but anyway, that's what they've done. So, and by the way, Tony Atwood said, what is it, 70 to 80% of autistics he believes do have ADHD, which once again, I would say he means the two. So there is a difference. You can look up the quiz tests, look up the lists if you don't know, but if you haven't been diagnosed with these things and you're autistic, you should look into, do I have ADD or ADHD, because most likely it's a coexisting thing you have. It's just good to know, because that can help you with therapies, it can help you just get your life on track. I'm hyperactive, that's what they called it in my childhood days when it was given to me, that label. Hyperactivity is what you were given. Yes, that was me. Very active child, even though I was put into many sports and dancing and skating and everything, I still was annoying to watch TV with because I couldn't sit still, but that's also autism too. But I'm just saying, you know, we need supports, and I've had my health advocate suggest that I take over, that somehow possibly these people will just understand if I take over and Sir steps back. And it's just like, you don't get it. Because in Australia, guys, when you talk about autism, and even if it's genetically proven that you have it, like me, they just don't want to allow you to have the supports. And in Australia, you're allowed to have a support person without a disability, but they just don't want it because they know that you're easier to control. That's the really shitty thing. They see the autism. Oh yeah, they do, because they see it to the point where they squash you and they know you'll just take it. Easy patient, right? What they don't like is your guardian. So it might be your parent, it might be a sibling, it might be your partner, it might be your adult child, I don't know. But they do that. They don't want to hear from that person in Australia because we can't sort of shut them down, because it's all about money in Australia. It's all about, if I don't do this healthcare or this procedure, then I save money. That's what it's like. And when you're late diagnosed with things, they don't care as much. And it's not actually right, to be honest, because everyone deserves equal healthcare, and everybody, especially when your syndrome is you could die in your 50s, which is 22q, please don't ignore me, doctors, thanks. That would be risky. Cheers to that, yeah? I'm right. Don't be stupid, okay? Of course I'm hoping that I'm going to live to 90s and I'm going to be, doing all these amazing things at 90. But the fact is, if that is the stats for 22q, that is my risk factors. So don't be stupid, doctors. So I'm not having much support for that, because they're not doing that. They haven't been doing that. They bully me. They gaslight me. They don't help. My partner gets me everything that I need. He's proven them wrong so many times that they hate it so much that they're purposely blocking him. And even when you tell your health advocate that, they don't want to let the situation be. The EBG needs to speak. It's about efficiency. It's not about women empowerment. I'm far out. I just want to be accepted as a person with my autism, okay? I will never get female empowerment. I mean, are you kidding me? This world doesn't give a shit about empowering you. And anyone that's smart knows that. These people are arrogant as fuck. They don't care. Okay, they're the specialists, they're in control, and shut the fuck up, and this is what I will and won't do. That's it in Australia. There's no conversation. So you need a person that's got the ability to think on the spot, because they're very, like, oh my God, the mental gymnastics they do. First sentence, I start looking at Matt and I'm like, I'm non-verbal. I have no words. I don't understand what the hell the conversation direction's just gone. I don't know what the point was. Was it a statement or a question? I have no clue what's going on as soon as the first sentence gets said. And they do that on purpose. Not just for autistics. I'm talking like even Sir struggles. It's like, what do you mean by that? But at least he knows how to navigate that social engineering thing. I don't. So to put me in charge would be stupid. And I would probably die from it. So it's not about my empowerment, it's about staying alive. That's my focus. So if they're going to play their mental gymnastics to get out of money, because that's what they do, probably get KPIs for it, most likely, to save money to the government. So, you know, I need support. And on top of that, there's been an obvious rudeness towards me, because you know why? I actually have a great legal case. They failed me that much that all I need is a pro bono lawyer, because I don't have the money, to take me on. I have a good case. I have a really good case of being failed willfully by this system. Willfully. They have failed so many things for 33 years, let alone my childhood, and letting that slide. But because of that, you see, they do know that's something that could happen. They get even more angry instead of more helpful, right? More cocky, more, it's like 22Q doesn't exist. You know, they try and sweep it under the rug. It's like, no, I'm not going to die because you're going to pretend this isn't happening. I'd love to pretend it's not happening. But look at my body breaking. And they admit all that, because the tests all show all that. It's like, you can't deny this, and you can't deny that, and you can't deny this, and you can't deny that. But guys, we're living in a world, and let's be honest, philosophically here and sociology-wise, combine the two, we're living in a world where people don't care. They don't go to work for you, and this is including healthcare. They go to work for their own salary. It's not about me. It's not about other people. Sure, they'll save a life. Of course they will. And sure, there's some really great ones and there's some really horrible ones. Absolutely. But in Australia, there's a lot that just don't give a shit. They're just there for the money. They just don't care. Because they don't experience what we experience. They have private cover. They are healthy. Hence why they're in a position of privilege, having a job and a good job and all. They don't have a syndrome. Now, I'm not saying that there's no one out there that does. It's rare though, if that makes sense. So the majority of people that are working in high-powered jobs, that are seeing over people like me, are very, very healthy. They cannot relate. And even if their sister's cousin's son's brother's wife's cousin has an autistic daughter, doesn't mean I'm the same. Because you might see me now and go, oh, but you're not like this, as a, you know, this kid over here. Yeah, but did you know me as a kid? No. Yeah, well, I was actually worse than that as a kid. Yeah, I know. Amazing, right? A lot of improvement. Do you want to high five me now? No? Okay. Well, I was worse than that. It's frustrating. So, it's very disappointed to hear that my two representatives, and you need your independent representatives too, guys, because Matt's like biased, you know, and naturally, fair enough. That's okay to throw around. He's biased, whatever. He could lie, whatever. We're not. But these people are independent. You need that in the mix, right? To know the stories. And they do. I spent hours with my health advocate, happily, to get this resolved for my best interests. I want to live a long life. And a quality life, actually, on top of that. Quality. That's right. I forgot about that. Got so caught up with just trying to stay alive. I gave up on trying to expect quality of life. Whoops. I do that a lot. Common mistake. No, it's not. Bad breath. bad breath, bad armpit smell. I'm smelling this smell. It's probably a phantom smell. I don't know. I'm not smelling my own armpits now. Being OCD and smell is one of the things. It's annoying. And also sound. Oh my gosh. That is temporary. But getting used to the sound direction of things is doing my head in. It's been really hard to focus on conversations with Sarah. I've been like, can you say that again? I heard a lot of words and I don't know. Because that noise the dog was barking over there and I was distracted. So anyway, it's been hard. I'm trying to habituate to the noises, the change of noises. So, NDIS. A lot of parents are upset at not getting enough support. And I get it. And they've all been told, oh, this is a parental responsibility. It's a tough one, isn't it? It really is, because I raised an autistic and I had to take it on as parental responsibilities. I had to take the therapies on as parental responsibilities financially. Now, I'm not saying that if you're out there and you're suffering to the point of it is actually affecting you mentally, physically, you deserve help. But I'm just saying there is a little bit here, guys, where I am going to admit that as a parent myself of an autistic who didn't have a lot of needs, so it depends on the needs, didn't have a lot of needs compared to certain autistics, I think it is a parental responsibility for dealing with it, including the difficult behaviours. I mean, I've had many fat lips, punches to the face. I've had many things like that. Just out of my child being sick, had glue ear, so was deaf, autistic, temporary deaf. He's not now, but it caused the poor thing, you know, a speech impediment, needed speech therapy. We needed Kumon, but that got him on track and he's highly successful now. So it's like, you know, we paid for all of that. And if you can't literally afford it, and we have to sacrifice things to pay for that. And so if you can't afford it, I do feel for you. Absolutely, I feel that you deserve the support through the NDIS system. But if you can afford it, I do think it's kind of a parental responsibility. If it's like not out of pocket expenses to the point where it'd make you go bankrupt, that's a different story. So it depends on the needs. But if the needs are low, I do kind of agree that us parents, I couldn't work a lot because I had to be there for, well, I've got one with ADHD as well, and has chronic fatigue. So I've had a lot of things I've had to give up, and I consider that to be, that's my job. I'm a parent. I brought them into this world, and still now if they came on my doorstep and said, oh, Mum, I need this, I have to help gladly because I'm their mum. That's just how I see it. I'd sacrifice anything that I need just to give that to them. But I'm not saying that if that exceeds a certain level of things, you should get NDIS support. But there's certain things where it's like, no, some kids are more expensive than others. It is part of life. And I know that there's a high cost of living in Australia. So if it's affecting you to the point of you can't afford your rent, of course you should say to the NDIS, help. This isn't fair. My child shouldn't suffer. And early intervention does make a difference, NDIS. Let's point that out. So, look, focus on your school. Expect it from them. And if you don't get it from them, speak to the local politicians and speak to the NDIS. Definitely. Because schools can do wonders, guys. If you connect with every year I did that with my autistic son. Every year I would have a long conversation at the beginning of the year and regular conversations to make sure that if he was struggling just in the slightest, I would step in and do something. That's a really good thing to do because some teachers really care, guys. They really do care and want the best for your child, just like they do for the rest of the class. Trust me. But do insist on NDIS stepping up if your child has needs that you can't meet needs that are high needs. Absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. If your child is high needs or a lot of needs, you need the NDIS. Totally. 100%. Without a doubt. But the problem is too, we've got this reality check of a horrible government, both sides, and it's difficult, guys. There's people that could die by not getting certain equipment, and then there's autism supports that aren't in the high category trying to get supports. It's a tricky one, guys. It really is. It really is, because at the moment, with what we're working with, it's a bit like the gas mask, the oxygen mask. It's sometimes got to be put on the person the most important to then give it to the people around them. So let's just make sure that everyone's covered to keep them alive out of physical abuse situations or any other abuse situations. Let them look, they're going through, and this is what I foresee, okay, from my experience and from my conversations with many politicians about this, guys. And I'll say this, the NDIS currently has a lot of corruption going on, and they're fixing it, but they can't fix it like that. It's not an overnight thing. It's going to take a long time. And I know that you're saying, I don't have time. Nor do I. With a genetic syndrome that kills you in your 50s, most likely, doesn't mean it's going to be, but most likely, yeah, I'm turning 50. Yeah, I get you. I don't have my needs met. I'm at AAT. So I hear you. I really do. It's not fair and it's not okay, NDIS. So fix it. And they are. I trust that. At this point, if that changes, I'll let you know. But I do. But we've got to capture these people, get that money back that they stole, put it back in the kitty, and give it to you guys that are missing out, because you shouldn't be missing out. Needs are needs. Disability needs are disability needs, and disability needs need to be met because they're needs. Forget the wants, the needs. Agreed. So I hear you on that one. But I shouldn't be at AAT. It's actually costing more money than the things that I actually need, idiots. So take that into account when you go to the drawing board and you all sit there. Mr. Shorten, just say this, like it's a really good one, right? Just say this, just go, look, we're wasting money. Not only get back from the corruptive people, can you go get that money back? Cool, hope so. Audit them all. Get that money back. But then second to that, what you need to do is sit there and say, right, if we don't meet their needs and they go to AAT because they know that they have to have their needs met because they could die or have a very shitty quality of life, well, it's just costing more. Simple, really. You're wasting more money at AAT. You're wasting more money getting OT assessments. I've had so many on the same thing. It's getting stupid. It's kind of tiring too. You don't need to be wasting money on more OTs. I've got current OTs that aren't even reports that aren't even a year out of date, and you want another one. It's like, don't waste money, please. Don't double up, triple up. That's just waste. So let's get back to preventing the money going there. And I know that you say it's not about the money, it's about the needs. But you do have to look at the money if you're wasting more money to assess the needs 3 times to get something. And to go to AAT, is that necessary to get something? When you've got an OT, if an OT says this person needs this, and it's in the needs category, and you know the needs category, a lay person knows the needs category. And let's just, I hate the fact that admin decide on this. Do you know that? In Australian system, admin decide whether our needs get met in these areas that we're asking. From an OT who's trained at university for disability needs. Make that make sense? Doesn't. Change that, really. to be honest. That's stupid. When you've got a syndrome and you've got long list of symptoms and diagnoses, it's really annoying because I have a lot of needs. And if one of those needs doesn't get covered and that's the need that kills me, I'm not happy about that. I've got a lot to live for. So let's not do that to anyone like me. When I talk about me, guys, you know what? I really am focusing on everyone else like me. You don't have to have the same thing as me, but just everyone else in need from the NDIS, staff, equipment, good staff that give a shit about you, me, support workers that are educated in epilepsy. Oh, that's hard. They don't want to know it. It's like, makes me nervous. It's like, makes you nervous? Geez, we got to live with this trauma every day. I don't have a seizure every day, unless I don't take my meds. But I'm just saying, like, we have to deal with it, right? It's a high stress scenario for carer and the person experiencing seizures. Or in some cases, there's families with children. Oh, my eyeball. Okay? Imagine seeing a child having a seizure. Not good, right? Stress. Oh my God, my eye. I would be beside myself if it was my child. Okay, so it's distressing. My partner gets distressed. He said it. He goes, I've got PTSD from this. And I looked at him and I was like, shit, I never thought about that. Because I'm autistic, right? I don't think enough. I can't see how others' perceptions are. And it made me feel sad. I was like, oh my gosh. Here I am thinking it's just a parental thing that you would feel that kind of PTSD if it's your child. Because I know if it was my child. And I thought, no, him as well. PTSD from watching the seizures for 12 years. Genetic seizures are the most dangerous too, guys. Okay? It's the most dangerous epilepsy. Yet getting staff that are just competent in epilepsy in Western Australia, at least, is all I know, is shit. They panic. I don't want someone around me panicking when, say, if I have a focal aware seizure, awful. Can't communicate, but I can hear. My body's doing weird things. I can't communicate. And so if they're panicking around me, it doesn't help. It's like, I need someone to be strong for me in that moment. But the competency of staff with seizures, NDIS, get a team, get a little badge they have to get to be epilepsy support worker that can do the epilepsy thing. Have a little stamp in there because they need to be competent to keep us alive, because SUDEP is a real thing. And second to that, they need to make us feel calm, not scare the shit out of us. Because you know what? At my age and my risk factors and just any epileptic, every seizure, we can get complacent, and we have. Sir and I have. But I'll tell you this, one seizure could take me out. You never know when that's going to be. That's reality, guys. That's the reality. Look up how many people have died from seizures. It's a quarter of epileptics. It's just not a joke. So anyway, PTSD is a real thing for carers. Not just parents, I guess, like partners of people that they support and care for. No carer, parent, partner, family member, whatever, should be traumatized by this. But, you know, it's a bit like even my continence nurse setting me up with my colonics. She's like, oh, I really don't like this new system. We used to put people in to do this and get them all sorted with, set up with this colonics. And these days we just get them to do it at home and be available 24/7 on, you know, in the hospitals for calls. It's like, yeah, that is pretty neglectful, guys, in my eyes. And she's a nurse of, like, you know, been nursing decades, right? So she's one of those nurses that knows what should be done. It's like self-serve, like at Woolies, you know, self-serve healthcare. I should have been a nurse. I'd be able to do stuff myself. I feel like I'm learning to be one with all of these things I have to do, whether it's, you know, catheters, whether it's, you know, I've had catheters, I've had nasal tube, I have colonics now. Like, it's just, okay, it's a lot. It's a lot for cert too. But anyway, you need advocates for NDIS, for medical, particularly if you have anything complex, like a genetic syndrome. Autism is confusing for it, because everyone says, I know all about autism, you just need a sensory room, don't you? No, if you think it's just a sensory room I need, you don't know autism. And if you're not going to listen to my EPG, who can express things better than me, to make sure that I actually get diagnosed with things I've actually got, because like I said before, late diagnosis on everything because I have autism and don't communicate properly to doctors. That's why it happened. Fact. I would never have got to where I am now without Sir, because my parents just went, done. She's so hard. She's 18. Bye. She looks normal. She can pull it off. No, I couldn't. I crashed and burned. So I'm very passionate about helping others like me. So feel free to ask questions below, comment below. I am here. I give a shit. I care. And if your parents out there struggling on anything, I absolutely salute you, because my parents didn't give a shit. You guys rock because you're actually sticking it out. And obviously it's really hard because my parents decided it was too hard. So if you're sticking it out with your kid, you're a really good person. But I'm that mama too, because if that was my child, and it could be one day, I will step up and I'll be there. Or a grandchild, because this is genetic. Yay. So hang in there, everyone that's under the NDIS. Let's hope that the system, like they say, they know where things are going wrong. I'm hearing that directly from them. That's a good start. But we do need to hold them accountable as the years go on and make sure that these things happen. And I know for me, I don't have too long to wait, NDIS. I don't. I need things now. I need treatments now. I need proper specialists now. I need to be, like, where is the 22Q specialist in Western Australia? Why can't you hook me up with Melbourne? Okay? Get your shit sorted. Health department, not good enough. I deserve equal health care. I want a 22Q specialist access ASAP. Cheers to that. Any other syndrome, same thing if you're not getting it. You deserve it. Your hospital should be giving it to you. We all deserve it. It is not our fault what state we live in and we're born in, okay? We're here. We're here to stay. We want to be alive as long as we can. If your syndrome shortens your lifespan. So, I'll do more chats about NDIS and more sort of insights to what, because I've just had so many experiences and I don't know if I've summed it up in this one. I don't think there's enough I've summed up. So please ask questions below, or statements or things that can get my mind into, oh, I know something about that, so I can share more content, because I want to help. I want to help. So, peace out. And to you autistics that get accused of just not cooperating and step the fuck up, and it just hurts your soul so badly, because you're just like, I'm trying, I am doing my best. When is enough enough? Just because I'm so much closer to being, in your eyes, normal, it's not fair. Because if you're at your max, you're at your max, and that should be respected. I love you all. Thanks for listening. Bye.